Hello, my name is Emeka Stanley. Thanks for being there. I want to start this episode by stating categorically that no nation owns anything on the planet. Absolutely. Now, you may want to ask why I said that. Nations are made up of individuals. These individuals that come together to form a nation. And no individual was ever born with natural resources in the pocket. Everything that exists on the planet, we were born to meet on the earth. Everything. Therefore, if you are being born into any country or into any territory, it is your responsibility or the responsibility of the nation to cater for whatever is found within that territory. This is where the principle of management comes into play. The importance of managing natural resources cannot be overemphasized. If any country fails to manage the resources that are found in their territory, it becomes a curse on them. It becomes a burden. Now, if you go to one of the forests and decide to fell all the trees, it will result in desertification. Animals will be affected and it will disrupt the ecosystem. This is the reason why we are having climate change. The nations that are exceptionally different, that are doing very well, are nations that have learned this principle, that have learned to manage the resources that they find in their territory. And if you're able as a nation to safeguard and to manage the resources that are in your territory, they keep improving and they are able, sufficient enough to sustain all the individuals in that country. Very able. But when you fail to do this, that is where you have economic crisis. Economy simply means making the best use of the resources available to you. If you're doing well with these resources, the economy booms. If you're doing bad with these resources, there is economic crisis. Therefore, economic crises are man-made. They are effects of mismanagement of both natural resources and human resources. Humans are the ones that are supposed to manage the natural resources. And if they fail to do that, it affects even the management of everything. Of everything. And the nation becomes in trouble and starts looking for ways to survive. The secret to conquering economic crisis in the world, every nation, is by managing what they have judiciously. Look for avenues, things that are not necessary, expenses that are not necessary, cut them off and invest on things that are going to improve on the natural resources already available. When a nation fails to understand this, it becomes a problem. It will basically be living on handouts and borrowing. And those that are doing well, and this is, if you look at some people come into your country and they are the ones to tell you the value of what you have. There is no problem in someone telling you this is what you have, this is what the value of what you have can produce. But then what do you do after that? How do you manage that information? How do you manage the production of that information, of the proceeds of the information as well? This is where nations are built. This is where empires are built. This is where the wealth of nations are hidden. Proper management of resources. Nigeria, for instance, has an abundance of resources, from agriculture to natural resources, food, arable lands, water bodies. All these are there to make the citizens fare better. The proceeds from the management of these resources are there to give the citizens of Nigeria the best life affordable. But the reason why Nigerians are crying for food and other basic necessities is because these things are not managed properly. That is the reason. They are not managed properly because the people who are there do not understand this principle, or because they understand this principle but deliberately break those principles. And there are rules, there are laws guarding everything on the earth. When you keep breaking the laws of existence, the laws of nature, it is paid dearly for. Nothing, no action is free. There are rules, there are consequences of every action. And the consequences of mismanagement of resources are there. So what is the way forward? Management of resources is the way forward. It has to be the primary goal of every country. No matter how little the resources are, no matter how huge the number of individuals are, there are things in every country that will sustain the individuals living in that country. It's not a mistake. No country is a mistake, and no individuals born in a country is a mistake either. That is why it is the responsibility of every individual in a country to ensure that the best of that country is brought to the fore. I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks for being there.